had a roommate and he was from China, and so I don't know if this is like a thing in China, like a saying, but he said that his mom called the underarm fat bye-bye fat because it's like the one that'll jiggle when you're waving goodbye to someone. Okay, y'all, it is Monday of week 5. Oh my gosh. We're still going. Last week I hit a milestone. I think I might have talked about it in one of the vlogs. Wait, oh my gosh, I see a person in karate gear. There must be a studio or something nearby. That's just not something you usually see around these parts in West Virginia. But last week at some point, I forgot which day it was, I officially reached the milestone of 10 pounds down since starting this channel and these vlogs and whatever, but 25 pounds down since Christmas of 2023. Woo! And hopefully, we're not even gonna say hopefully. This will be the last time that I go through this, at least to this degree. You know, I wanna give myself the grace to like I'm never gonna worry too much about plus 5 pounds, even like plus 10 pounds, like that sort of fluctuation. Life's gonna happen, but no more of this, you know, oh, I regained 50 pounds, oh, regained 60 pounds. We're done with that. Today at the gym, it's gonna be a mega light day, like literally a mega light day. Just maybe walking 2 miles and then doing some machines, but nothing to the point of major strain. Today's just like a light maintenance day. Oh my gosh, I think the Ohio River is looking a little flooded today. I mean, not flooded, but there are some trees on this tree line that are submerged. It's definitely raised a few feet above normal. Oof. See, I would never want to live on a shoreline or right next to a river, because I swear, like, especially with the way things are going, I mean, you better have some damn good insurance. Even with great insurance, though, I just mentally would not be able to handle fundamentally rebuilding or re-renovating major parts of my home every 2 or 3 years. But really, what the hell do I know? I'm talking out my ass as if I have fuck you money or something. I still rent. I think I'm getting tailgated right now. Okay, never mind. Not anymore. On that bridge, I swear I was getting tailgated by a Chrysler minivan. I swear, you guys, moms are just insane. I mean, have you seen some of those videos of public freakouts? You know, if you go on Reddit, you can find a lot of them. Really, it can happen. Every generation has a bunch of dickheads, shitheads, douchebags, and assholes. And just crazy people. Now, I'm not talking crazy like legitimately mentally ill. I'm talking about people who they must have some sort of personality disorder where they're like legitimately fucked up, you know. But at the end of the day, especially according to the law, a personality disorder is not justification for illegal behavior. You know what I mean? As far as the law is concerned, I'm not talking about advocates and all of this, but as far as the law is concerned, if you have a personality disorder, you are expected to have enough self-control. You know, like if a store, like if you go to return something and the store's like, oh, sorry, we don't do returns without receipt. Like, really, really sorry. Maybe would you like a store coupon instead? And when people start like screaming and knocking over merchandise and slamming on countertops, spitting at people, hitting people, punching people, and they'll like record, they'll get their phone out and be so determined that they're the one in the right while they're calling someone like a stupid ass bitch cunt or something like that, and filming themselves doing illegal things like spitting on people. That's obviously not what happened with my tailgating or hitch riding situation just now, but it just reminded me of that because, I don't know. It's scary out there sometimes. Now, for the most part, I luck out in life and I do not see those kinds of folks in my day-to-day life, but I know they're out there. I think I need to start making topic lists, you know, because I definitely struggle sometimes to think of things to talk about. I don't want to just be like talking about the weather and being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna walk on the treadmill. But at the same time, I live a very boring life, so, you know, it is what it is. Okay, I'm gonna go have my gentle light day. Okay guys, Light Monday is done. So I did my 100-calorie warm-up walk, which I do just every time I go. Then I did 150 calories of sprint, like HIIT style circuit cycling. Then I did a little bit of a plank series, and then I did a 100-calorie cool down walk, and then I did just the basic bitch, 3 sets of 12 on all the upper body machines. And one thing that I realized today is I love the machines that are actually on the main floor so much more than the ones that they have in the PF30 Express area. I don't know how to really describe it. It's just like the machines on the main floor, like they are built and designed slightly differently. Like the design, where the wires go, the mechanics of activating, like pulling the machines, it's slightly different and it feels so much better than the ones in the PF30 Express area. I don't know why the PF30 Express area doesn't just have the ones like on the main floor. I don't know if it's a budget thing or what. I bumped up on the weight for everything I was doing except for the shoulder press because my left shoulder has a tendency, like it wants to pop out of the socket. But when I was working with the trainer a few years ago, before I fizzled out on that, she did say that building up, like slowly and safely building up shoulder strength around the joint would help stabilize the joint so that it won't like, pop out of the socket as much. And I'm not talking about like a full shoulder dislocation where, you know, you would have to like really get it back in there and you're like screaming or whatever. I'm talking about like a mini shoulder dislocation, like if you ever watched Dance Moms, remember Brooke Hyland was the one, the contortionist, acrobatic one who was always like being told to roll around on her neck and on her shoulders and stuff. And there was one competition where she was like in tears because her back was messed up and her shoulder was just like a little bit out of the socket. And so that's what I mean. Like she said, it had just become a normal part of life that her shoulder would just sort of like kind of pop out. And like it wasn't stable in the joint. See, one thing that I need to look into or maybe invest in just as like a pick-me-up every now and then is a neck and shoulder massage. The only thing is, I just, like, unless it's a facial, I don't really like people touching me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, even for like a back rub, I just don't want, I don't like people touching me. I've been told that I have very, very like frigid hugs. This is such a random reference, but if you ever watched, it was one of the times that Patti LaBelle was singing at one of the Aretha Franklin like honor tribute things, and afterward Patti went in to hug Aretha, and Aretha literally put her arms up like this and just slapped her fingers on Patti's shoulders. If I can snipe that visual, I'll go ahead and put it in, because I've basically been told that I do an Aretha hug. Okay guys, it is Tuesday of week 5. I didn't think that today was gonna happen because of my incredibly weak digestive system. So I promise I'm gonna keep this short. Basically, I just ate too much cheese at lunch. So yeah, just had a little bit of like late afternoon, early evening digestive upset. Now I'm just like a little gassier than I would like to be. Ugh, feeling a little gas bloated. And I really wanted to do the walking trail today, but I waited too long. Sunset is at 7:30, and see, sometimes I completely fall into that thing, the paralysis by analysis. So it's this. So paralysis by analysis can mean a few different things, but what it meant for me today was when I got home from work, I had enough time. I did have enough time. If I had just immediately taken a Gas X pill, waited 20 minutes for it to hopefully start, working, you take it with a tall glass of water, let it kick in a little, and then just go. Be out the door and just trust the process. I would have had plenty of time to walk the trail before sunset. Instead, I just got stuck for like a good half hour where I was like, okay, but like, God, I just don't feel good. I don't know if I want to do the trail, so maybe I could do the gym, but like, I don't feel good, so why would I want to go to the gym? Maybe instead of doing either the gym or the trail, I could just stay home and get a little bit ahead on editing since I got so behind. And right now, I only have my Monday walk from week 4 out, so I could just use today as like an unofficial rest day to get caught up on the editing. And I just kept thinking myself to the point where suddenly a half hour passed, and I'm like, oh my God. And now I guess the decision is made for me, because now it's too late to go to the park. So it has to be either the editing day or the gym. One change that I've decided to do that's gonna help with the editing so much, in my opinion, I'm only gonna film the commute to the gym, and then I'm just gonna do like a few minutes max, just recording in the parking lot with the light on, because I was looking at my like footage in camera, or in action camera, for Monday, the return trip from the gym. And I was there pretty late, like 9:30ish, and it's just so dark. You can't even see my face for like 80% of it. And there were times when I was trying to use my hands to like demonstrate things or sign things out. And not like sign language, but demonstrate. And you can't even see what I'm doing. But for that reason, I'm not gonna be doing recordings of the actual ride back from the gym anymore. My allergies, so since the weather has gotten a little bit nicer, my allergies have been crazy. I'm on Zysol every night, and, well, I'm on the generic version, but still, it should be just as good. But my nasal allergies have been so terrible still. Like last night, I was up for hours, it felt, just trying to swallow. And I don't even think that it was actually that much drainage. I think it's more like the tissue back there, up there and back there is just so swollen. It feels like you have something that you have to swallow when you really don't. So I think I need to get on Flonase or something. But the issue with that is I have this cluster of vessels up there. When I'm on Flonase, my nosebleeds are gonna be like crazy. Like, it's gonna be scary. It's probably gonna spontaneously happen at least once when I'm filming on the way to the gym, so I need to make sure I have tissues in the car. But another thing, just final thought before I go and just walk a little bit, because I am gonna take it easy. One thing, I would be able to get over it, but it would still just ruin my day if I were doing something like really high exertion, like a leg press thing, and if I just farted, like a mega farted, I would be able to get over it and shake it off, but inside that would be tough. I'm not gonna lie and try to pretend like, like I'm impervious. to everything. No, that would ruin my day. So I'm probably just gonna walk a little bit. I might have to use the bathroom to, and then I'm just gonna play it by ear. Okay, guys, Tuesday is in the bag. Did 100-calorie warm-up walk, 150-calorie HIIT cycle. I did the full upper body half of the main floor, 3 sets of 12 on everything. Later this week, I'm going to switch it up and try out everything on the lower body side. But, right now I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like my strength is going up a little bit every time that I'm trying out the machines, which feels really good. Keeping up with the protein and the collagen and the supplements and eating well. And I don't know. One thing that I enjoyed during my very, very first weeks showing up to the gym was that arm cycle thing. But I really do not recommend it if you have temporomandibular disorder or TMJ issues. I have a lifetime of TMD, and I noticed that there was one day when I did just too much on that arm cycle thing, and the pain, the tightness in my upper shoulder traveled up my neck and just really inflamed that joint. And so that's something maybe as a warm-up I would recommend, but definitely like the day that I think that I messed myself up, I was shooting for 100 calories worth of energy burned on the machine according to its internal readout. Definitely think that if you have TMD, that's just not a good idea. That's about it for today. Not too eventful, but I gotta get home because I am that cheese from earlier is catching up to me, so I'm gonna be in a race against the clock. Gotta go. Okay, but let's keep this week going. Good week. Keep the energy flowing. Woo! Okay, it's Thursday night. Tonight ended up being my full rest day. I had a dentist appointment at 5, and then I had to charge, the EV, and that took almost 2 hours because I was pretty low, and then I did some grocery shopping. Okay, but one thing that I do want to talk about real quick. I know that flossing is annoying. This is because I have my dental appointment on the mind. I know that flossing is annoying. It is annoying. I even find water flossing to be annoying, even though it's so much easier than string flossing. But it is worth it. It is worth it. So in all of my recent past dentist appointments, I've been told oh yeah, your teeth look really great. And there was a light amount of tartar scaling, but I never had chunks or anything. It was always scraping off remnants. You know what I mean? But I was always told your teeth are really great. You take really good care of them. Since a little bit before the new year, I have been water flossing every single night. On setting number 6 and doing a full tank of water. I've gotten into a rhythm now where I can sort of gauge the flow of how long I need to stay and what pace I need to go from top to bottom for the whole tank with warm water. And let me tell you, since I started doing that, today I had that dentist appointment exam and cleaning, and I was told that as far as the cleanliness of my teeth, about as close to perfect as they could ever expect a patient to be. And I was just well, thank you. I was well, actually, I have been putting a lot more into, my oral hygiene maintenance. So, I'm glad it shows. One of those moments where you're just blushing a little. You're just thanks. But it really was by far the just smoothest dental cleaning appointment I've ever had. For the scaling, I think that they go by feel a lot, and you can feel it when they're actually taking the tool and gliding it over the areas where you would normally have tartar accumulation. It catches on the tartar, their little scaling tool. For this appointment, it's the tool was virtually gliding over almost my entire tooth structure, except for an area that I just think is impossible to keep tartar free. This region, your bottom 2 to 4 front teeth, but especially the bottom 2. There are some salivary glands under your tongue. So no matter how diligent you are, you're almost always going to get some mineral buildup that can turn into a tartar buildup. around on the front and back of those teeth. So I didn't take it as a defeat. You know, I still felt so happy with just how that little scaler thing was just gliding over the rest of my teeth. So that is your PSA that flossing works, whether it's like string floss. If you're going to string floss, do it thoroughly. Or if you're going to water floss, even though it's a lot easier, just do it. You have to do it every night for these things to work. But anyway, I think that you can probably hear, God, it's like my brain is so hungry even. It's like hard to string sentences together. That's definitely a bad sign. So I'm going to hydrate and have a good hearty dinner, lots of good carbs, lots of protein and some good fats too, some olive oil. But yeah, anyway, we're going to keep the week going and finish strong on Friday. Gotta fuel a good day. Bye. So this week, in terms of energy and mental state, I have been feeling so much better. And I think it's because, I think in week 3 especially, I think that I was overtraining. And so I think that I'm going to keep scaling back the overall amount of cardio that I'm doing during the week. Like so far this week, I've still cumulatively gotten in like an hour or 2 of gentle cardio and an hour or 2 of like moderate to moderate high cardio. But like in week 3, I was doing hours and hours of cardio, and I just don't think that I'm ready for that. Now, I know that I said I was only going to weigh myself on Sundays in an earlier vlog, but I did get the scale out, and I, pop on it from time to time. See, I'm allowing myself enough grace to have some flexibility on certain things, because I just genuinely was curious. Earlier in the week, I did register at 234.0. So I am sort of keeping that slow and steady pace, you know what I mean? But again, circling back to where I started, the energy this week has been so much better. So much better. And I just haven't felt like I'm eating myself alive. And you know what? Today I'm actually wearing one of my XL Hanes cool dry long sleeve shirts. I have a bunch of these because these are so cheap. They're very breathable, in my opinion. I'm kind of weird. I find stuff like this, even though this is polyester, I find that this is more cooling than like a cotton material. I also think that like the sweat, once it wicks up to the top layers of the fabric, it evaporates faster. That might all just be in my head, but I prefer these types of shirts. But I was sort of in a pickle for a while because these, like when I'm at home, I don't really mind as much the feeling of snugness or whatever, but to go out in public, I had gotten to the point where I just didn't feel comfortable wearing these shirts out and about. And I totally admit this is still not the most flattering shirt on me, but today when I was just trying it out, I did notice that as far as like the feeling, it feels less snug. It finally felt like there was enough loose room inside this shirt where I was like, you know what, fuck it. I feel comfortable enough to wear this to a gym setting. There's really not much you can do to prevent loose, saggy skin during a weight loss journey other than hydrating the skin externally with body lotion, and even that's probably not going to work a miracle, but it's another proactive step you can take to just at least mentally feel like I'm doing everything that I can without higher intervention treatments to prevent that loose, saggy skin. And there are some areas where I can tell, like, oh gosh, like until my triceps fill out, I'm gonna have that bye-bye fat. I had a roommate in high school because I went to a boarding school. I had a roommate and he was from China, and so I don't know if this is like a thing in China, like a saying, but he said that his mom called the underarm fat bye-bye fat because it's like the one that'll jiggle when you're waving goodbye to someone. I've also heard people call it bat wing fat, you know, like wings. I don't know. Let's like not be so hard on ourselves and other people. And like, don't judge someone for loose skin. Because really, like, if someone obviously has like a lot of loose skin related to a really intense weight loss journey, then that shows that they are a badass warrior. They have taken such an enormous step and have stayed consistent to rehabilitate their health and regain self-confidence and mobility and just to feel lighter on their feet and better about everyday life. And maybe someday it'll be in the cards to get like, you know, more of a dermatological or plastic surgery type of intervention. But for now, they deserve to feel amazing about themselves. And so that's the energy that I want to put out into the world, because if, despite my best efforts, I end up with a lot of loose, saggy skin, I would want the same type of positivity cast my way. I wouldn't want someone to be like, oh God, ugh, look at that. And so it's one of those things where even though I am trying to avoid it, I'm not going to demonize it. I think that two things can be true at the same time. But yeah, time to go finish Friday strong. We got this. See you in a few. Bye. Okay, guys, Friday is in the bag, and it's strong. So 100 calorie warm-up walk, and then I decided to do like lower and upper body burnout today. So first I did all the lower body machines, the main machines, 3 sets of 12. I didn't record the weights. I'm still just trying to get like comfortable, but I felt pretty good about the weights. There are some machines where I can tell like I'm very underdeveloped, and then there are some where I'm like, okay, like I got it going on a little bit. But then I did a 50 calorie cool down walk, and then I did all the upper body machines, 3 sets of 12. Some things I did extra. The shoulder press is one. That is one I'm very weak on. My shoulders, as you know, are very messed up from tennis, or you may not have known that, but now you know. I was never great or anything, but I loved it. And so I did do competitive tennis in middle school and early high school, and that sort of has left me with bad shoulders. So I was very conservative on the weight on shoulder press. But also on tricep press, I did a full set with a new peak weight for myself, 150 pounds. However, because I was pushing it on things like the tricep press and the lat pull down and the chest press, I just like didn't have a lot left in the tank for my biceps. And so I started my first set on 60 pounds, and then I just had to lower it to 50 because my biceps were just toast. And I have weak biceps anyway. That's just like the shoulder press. That's another one where I'm just like I'm oddly low strength on that one. Another one is like the leg thing where you push the bar up with your legs, so it works your quads. My quads are so weak. I don't know what the issue is, but you know, those are just things to work on and balance out. I felt really great about everything though overall, and then I did 150 calorie HIIT cycle burnout, and I felt amazing on that too. I actually raised my new baseline level up to 9. So if you go back and watch vlog week 1, week 2, I'm sure I mentioned it at least a few times in there. My comfortable cycle pace or level pace was like level 4, maybe sometimes even level 3, rarely level 5. And so quickly, you know, level 9 has become my new like comfort baseline. So it's one of those things where once you really hit your groove, you know, some things are going to improve really quickly. I also think that the biggest takeaway learning lesson to end this week on is cardio. We love it. We love cardio, but in the right amount. Too much cardio leaves you feeling so withered and depleted, and that's what I was doing. I know that over time I'm still going to be incrementally build a better endurance baseline to do more cardio, but I think that was the lesson learned. Starting the journey by just like trying to crush myself with cardio was not the best move for long-term consistency on this, for keeping the momentum and keeping things going. Because in the past, like when I was skinny mini, I very much had like a runner's build. I was just like really skinny, and I did a lot of cardio, and then just like some stuff like planks and core and stuff like that, but really wasn't ever focusing on strength and growth. But yeah, I love this. I love I'd say that today it was sort of like 60-40, you know what I mean? Like 60% on the strength, actually maybe even 70-30 as far as like the effort that I put in today, like 70% on like the strength training and 30% on the cardio. And I think that that's a much better ratio than what I was doing. Like in the prior weeks, I think even on the PF30 Express days, which I did not do a single time this week, and I don't regret it at all. But even on those PF30 Express weeks, I think that I was still doing like 80% cardio, 20% strength stuff, maybe even more skewed. And, but these are all like growing pains. You know, I have watched a few videos from some like trainers online, but for the most part, I've been figuring this out for myself and just trying to tell myself, be bold, you know what I mean? Like my first, like I wouldn't feel comfortable dabbling with the main machines if I hadn't first experimented with PF30 Express for a few weeks. And so that's sort of what made me feel bold enough to, from there, move on to the main floor. And now I feel very at home on the main floor, and there's like no looking back. And I think once I get my bearings on the machines and I feel like I'm hitting plateaus on the machines, I'm gonna push myself again and start learning the basic techniques with the free weights and stuff, and then experimenting and going on from there. But there's no looking back. This is the part. And you know, I know that week 3 and week 4 were not the most optimistic of weeks, but really ending week 5, I feel like it's only up from here. And this is the part where it only gets better over time, and it's starting to become genuinely fun. So hang in there if you're, if you're starting a journey from zero like I have been doing. It gets so much better, but you have to get through the tough initial weeks and just go vibe with your body. There are probably going to be some failures along the way, some learning lessons along the way, until you find a rhythm where you're like, I feel good and I feel like I'm meeting goals, and it's just awesome. You know, you got to figure that out for yourself with assistance from educated experts. But at the end of the day, your journey is your journey. Okay, I'm gonna go eat now. Bye.